We all know that managing money can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck or just want to get your finances in order, you're in the right place. In today's video, I am going to share 7 simple tips that will help you manage your money better and set yourself up for financial success. Whether you're a budgeting newbie or a seasoned pro, these tips will help you take control of your money and start building wealth. Hey Legacy Builders, welcome back to Mind Your Money. If you are new here, my name is Tasha. I'm a part of a family of 6 and we are on our journey towards financial freedom. In today's video, I'm going to share 7 simple tips to manage your money better while also closing out my paycheck budget. So as I close out the budget in between each section, I'm going to share with you these tips that will hopefully help you manage your money better. Again, whether you're starting out budgeting for the first time, or if you are a seasoned pro, all of these tips will help you in some way. I'm using my 12-month simple budget planner for mindful financial planning. I will link this down below in case anyone is interested in trying this out. I am using a big gelocity pen. I'll link that down below. Sometimes people do ask, what kind of pen are you writing with? And this calculator I've been using for a little over a year. It's just helpful. It's really nice. It's simple, just like I like it, but it's a unione, and I got this from Amazon, so I will link this down below in case you're interested in that. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to open up my workbook or my planner. I like to call it a workbook. It feels like a workbook because it helps me to manage my money really good. It's delicious. The budget that we're working with this pay is $1,165. Some of that is Amazon affiliate pay, some of that is KDP pay, and W-2 income, and unspent household budget from the last paycheck budget in February, along with some unspent food budget money from the last paycheck of February. We're going to just use every dollar. I'm using a rounded number. I'm not even going to include the change in this budget. I am using the money that's currently in my operating account, and that's just a checking account that has no fees. It is no minimum balance required, and it's with Capital One 360. And my first tip is to choose one high yield savings account. Why? Because it's the easiest way to start making your money make money for you. And maintaining a healthy emergency fund is extremely important. So that tip is for both beginners or low income earners and high income earners. Whether you make $2,000 a month or $10,000 a month, having a high yield savings account and maintaining a healthy emergency fund is important for when life becomes life. Our operating account is also attached to several high yield savings accounts I save for very specific things, including our emergency fund, and I'll link 2 banks down below that offer free, no minimum balance required, high yield savings accounts that you can start using today if you haven't chosen one already. And so my top priority for this paycheck budget is build our emergency fund. So keep adding to the emergency fund and build up our account cushion. So I want to make have extra money in our bills account for this March 7th paycheck. Our giving bucket is the first bucket I like to allocate money to, and the actual amount is going to be $111. By the way, those high yield savings accounts give anywhere between 3% to 5%. Check and see which one might be the best fit for you. I like it when my money makes money for me. So we're going to send $111 to our tithe. We give that to our church. Next bucket is my savings bucket. Now, since our top goal is the emergency fund, we're going to use my savings challenge in the back of this section called the Save 400 Challenge, and we're going to send $80 over there for that. And that's the exact amount that we're budgeting this week. So we planned for $80 and we're sending $80. The second tip that I have for you is to automate your savings. Why? Because you can set it and forget it. Again, you want to maintain a healthy emergency fund. 2, it's important whether you're making, again, $2,000 a month or $10,000 a month. You don't want to miss the opportunity to maximize your retirement contributions. So if you make it automatic, where every single pay period, a set amount goes to your retirement and a set amount goes to your savings, you've taken a lot of the stress off, and you don't have the opportunity to spend that money that could be working towards your future. One account, the emergency fund, is to protect you against life being life. That's your first line of defense. The retirement is for when you stop working, you want to have money available to use and to live off of. Now, this disclaimer is in my description box, but I'm also going to tell you right here that I am not a fiduciary. I am not a professor of consumer economics. I do not have a degree in anything personal finance related. I just have experience, and I'm sharing that with you to hopefully motivate you to take control of your money. All right, next thing on my budget for this paycheck is investing. That is, in fact, tied to savings, which is why I just mentioned retirement and high yield savings account and all of those things. So for my investing, we are investing via Fidelity for retirement. Robinhood is our taxable brokerage. We use that for dividends. Charles Schwab, which houses a portion of our emergency fund, and 529s for our 4 children. Fidelity is getting $35 in it this week, and Robinhood is not set up on automatic draft, but I did purchase an asset through Robinhood for $30. Now, this money that's going to Fidelity is automatic. Every single week I've given them authorization to go into my operating account and take $35 out to be invested. Robinhood is on pause for reoccurring investments, and this was not on a whim. It was very intentional for me to buy this asset and send $30 there, but it wasn't planned ahead of time. But nonetheless, we have invested $65 with the first paycheck of the month. Cash expenses is the next one. And we're going to move on to tip number 3 before I break this down. And these are in no particular order, just, giving these tips as I go throughout my budget payday routine. Use cash for personal or discrepancy spending. Why? Because when you give yourself a little bit of money to spend however you want to spend it. If you want to use your debit card, if you want to use actual physical cash, this is the way that you can keep your life happy and free and have a little bit of money because you've worked hard for it. And if you've already automated your savings, if you already have a high yield savings account, if you're already investing in your retirement, then you should be using that money to spend on things you like, love, and enjoy. Sometimes airplanes fly nearby where I live because I live near an airport, so I'm sorry about that. I hope you can hear me and the video is clear. So for cash expenses for me, I don't actually have anything going into my wallet this week. I'm focused on my A5 black binder, which is called my household binder. I might rename this category just so it's easier for people who are new to follow along. But we're going to stuff $30 in cash in my household binder to help us with our laundry cost. The A5 brown binder is actually for savings challenges. And so we have certain financial goals that we pull out cash for to help us save, because doing some fun savings challenge games or just regular savings challenges like scratch offs or coloring in little dots to, track your progress is a lot of fun, and it's motivating for me personally. So I'm going to put $30 towards savings challenges, which is in reality is for financial goals. One of the ways that makes these allocations easier is creating a simple budget. And that's tip number 4. Create a simple budget. Your budget doesn't have to look exactly like this. You don't even have to have the same buckets that I call them, or categories. You might use different categories. You might have a living free category, and under that you put your spending money or your fund money, or if you have purpose funds or savings for specific short-term savings, you might want to name it that. If you have adulting, I've seen that as a category in some people's budgets because it's relative to you. So create a simple budget that helps you allocate money to everywhere you need it to go so that there's no confusion, and you get your savings out of the way, you get your investing done, you're charitable, and you pay all of your bills, of course, and have a little fun. So that's my fourth tip. And then I'm going to move over to bills and expenses. So for my bills slash expenses, this is including all of the bills I have to pay every week or every month. And then down below, this little dark line here is everything related to household expenses. So that's our food or groceries, car gas, household supplies, things that we need for the household, and then of course debt. So we are paying off a credit card slowly but surely. So that's what's in my bills slash expenses bucket. So first off, we have bills that are totaling $680. We are going to put aside that amount to take care of bills. Now, I'm going to give you my fifth tip before I break this down. Open up a separate account for bills only. Okay, why? Because you can automate your payments and you make your budget simple and stress-free. Okay, so that is connected to step 4. Create a simple budget, but have a separate account for bills. Now, we were just recently able to get 1 full month ahead of all of our regular bills and our mortgage payment because we took our tax refund and we put it to work. And I know not everyone may be in that position where you can get ahead that quickly. Some people, it takes 6 months, it could take a year. But if you want to have a little bit more freedom and flexibility with your budget, getting a month ahead of your regular bills, even if you can't get ahead of your rent or mortgage, that would be a game changer. So I suggest automating your payments, having a separate bill account, because it will spare you from overspending or overdrafts. Mortgage for us, we are going to send $475. We send a fourth of the mortgage every week of basically the fourth of the entire budget for the month, so that we can stay on top of it. And we're paid weekly, so that's why I divided into 4. Our car insurance will be paid at $125, and since we're already a month ahead, we're actually paying for April, towards April's bill. Our electricity bill was paid for $55.27. That was the amount that came out of our bills account. So I'm going to allocate the actual amount of $55.27. And this is where I need my calculator. I'm going to pull this down so you can see. So $680 is the total amount of mortgage and the bills that we need to put aside, plus a little bit of cushion. But our cushion is going to increase because the budgeted amount for the electricity bill is maybe $10 or $15 less. I'm not doing good at mental math, but we'll see what's happening. So we can put a little bit more towards the cushion. I'm going to calculate to see how much that is. So 680 minus 475 minus 125 and minus 55.27. So now we have $24.73 that we can transfer over to our bills account, and that's a cushion for us because our bills for this week are a little bit less than what we planned. And we've already paid all of March's bills, so this is actually going to roll over into April. Okay, so now that we have that squared away, our food cost, we're budgeting $100 for food this week. So this money is sitting in the operating account, ready for us to use it. I have gone to the grocery store one time today when I'm closing out my video. I've gone to the grocery store because I'm closing out my budget on payday. And so I still need to reconcile my account by tracking my spending, which leads me into tip number 6. Track your spending. Why is it important to track your spending? Because you may budget a set amount for groceries or eating out or gas. You need to know how much money you're actually spending. You need to know if your spending plan, which is your budget, is going according to what you've set. So if you don't track where your money is going or how much is coming in, you will have no idea what's going on with your money. And that doesn't give you control over your money. That gives money control over you. And we want to turn things around. We are the masters of our money. The money is not a master of us. So what I'll have to do between this payday and the day before the next payday is make sure I track all of the expenses to make sure I stayed within that $100 budget. And I track my expenses on my expense tracker. Just in case you're new here, if you haven't been here before, this is my expense tracker. I even use stick notes sometimes to remind me of what I need to be focused on, so I don't lose focus, and I track every single dollar. I keep receipts, and even if I don't have the physical receipt, once I scan them through my rewards app like Fetch Rewards or Receipt Hog or Ibotta, I can go back and pull up the digital copy to make sure I know how much I've been spending in a certain category. These airplanes are relentless today, but so am I. Okay, car gas. We budgeted $20. We're at half a tank right now on the day I'm filming, so $20 won't fill us up all the way, but it'll get us very close. And since I don't plan on doing a lot of driving, this should be good for us. So the actual that we're leaving behind for gas is $20 because I haven't used that money yet, and I do think I'm going to use the full amount. But if you stay tuned to my channel, you'll see me do expense tracking, which I post on Wednesdays, and we'll see how I did with the food budget and then our gas budget. And finally, household. We're budgeting $15 for a couple of household supplies. I need to get some new infant fluoride-free toothpaste, and I also need an infant toothbrush for my baby girl who just turned 1. So, and some Febreze. And I think I can get these items for less than $15. So again, we'll see when I track expenses after this. So when I did my budget off camera, I reviewed my account. I checked my account. I did all of the numbers. We have $34 left over that should be going towards debt, which will be credit card number 2 for me. So let's make sure that $34 is what I have, because it should be. So, oh, I'm sorry, nothing for purpose funds. I didn't plan anything for purpose funds, and I'm not going to put anything in them this week. So $11.65 is where we started. We are giving $111. We are sending $80 to the emergency fund. We invested $65. We pulled out $60 in cash. $680 is going to bills. $100 is set aside for food, $20 for gas, and $15 for household. Boom. So I have $34 that I'm going to send to my credit card as an additional payment. And now I can add these up. $849 is the total cost of my bills/expenses bucket. That includes the regular bills and then variable expenses, extra debt payment too. So if I add all of my buckets up, I'm going to zoom back out so you can see the full workbook, and we'll do a total check to make sure I have a zero-based budget here. So 111 plus 80 plus 65 plus 60 plus 849 is 1165. Boom shakalaka. We have a zero-based budget. The last tip, the 7th tip I have for you is to set up direct deposit. Right? Of course, that's the first thing that happens before you can actually verify your budget and how much money you have to work with. But the reason why is because it makes budgeting on payday so much easier. Instead of you having to deposit a physical check and then wait probably 2 days before you can actually access it, you can get it right away. Now, I know a lot of people these days probably already have direct deposit, but I can tell you this: when I was working in an insurance agency, and I did not have direct deposit, and some people are still getting physical checks, and my husband was one of them recently, where he was still getting physical checks, and I was so grateful when he finally decided to do direct deposit, because it means the money is there immediately. 12:01 on the day he gets paid, the money is there, which is great, which is helpful, which allows us to be able to do all the things we need to do: automating our savings, automating our investments, taking care of bills, and having a little fun with the money that we want to. So again, whether you make $2,000 or $10,000 a month, let me know down below if any of these 7 tips were helpful to you, and I'll recap them just in case you missed some of them. Choose a high yield savings account because it's the easiest way to start making your money make money for you, and maintaining a healthy emergency fund is important. 2, automate your savings. Why? Because you set it and forget it. You won't miss it and it adds up quickly. 3, open a separate account for bills only and automate the payments as soon as you can. Set up direct deposit. Track your spending. Use cash for personal spending. Create a simple budget. I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know which one of these tips you're already doing or you already have taken advantage of, and let me know which ones you're actually going to implement in your payday routine or in your budgeting system. So I'm going to quickly go through my percentages because I like to track and see how much money based on percentages that we give, save, and invest. And so giving was 111 divided by the 1165 that we used. I'll multiply that number by 100 and I get 9.5% went to giving. Some of the money that we have here was from our cushion, so we don't tithe off of that because we would have tithed off of that in the previous budgeting period. So that's why this is not exactly 10%, which is what tithe means, a tenth. Savings, $80 divided into 1165. These planes are not giving up. 6.8%. I hope you can see my calculator, you guys. 6.8. Okay, and investing was 65. 5.5%. I don't trust my fingers, so I'm going to try that one more time. 65 divided into 1165 multiplied by 100. Okay, it is 5.5%. Again, this number is going to go down for the next paycheck because this was not planned for Robinhood. I just did it intentionally, but it wasn't planned previously before March. So I'm glad that I did it though, because we're trying to build up our dividends in Robinhood, and this is going to help us. I believe it in Jesus' name. Okay, so that is how I close out my budget by paycheck. Another plane going by. And I'm going to go ahead and update my Save 400 savings challenge right now and find my pink watercolor pencil. I'll link these down below too. These are excellent. I've had them for I think 3 years, you guys, and they're now starting to dwindle, but they're so nice. I use them to color because coloring soothes me, and so I'm going to be sharing some of my coloring pages on community posts, probably, you know, maybe throughout May or March. I'm sorry, we're not in May. Just a couple of times a week, because it's so encouraging to me, so maybe someone else will find it encouraging too. Okay, each of these blocks are worth $20. And so I saved $80 today, so I colored in 4 blocks. And where am I? Oop, there we go. Let me zoom back out. Okay, so we're finished. We did our closeout for the paycheck for March 7th. And I shared all of the tips with you that I hope, again, are helpful. Thank you so much for being here, Legacy Builders and friends. Old and new, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Continue to mind your money, you guys. Manage it well and live your lives abundantly. And I will talk to you in the next one. Bye for now.